So good afternoon. So under voltage control device, last class we have seen with respect to MOSFET. Just I will recap why we go for voltage control device. And the need for voltage control device is when the source current will not reach zero or the load current will not reach zero, then in that case all current control device will not get turned off itself, because they can be only turn off of current control device is not possible. So after the invention or the stepping in into the power electronics, see you are studying ME power electronics, only after ME power electronics came into picture, we moved to stepping up your DC voltage. So this stepping up DC voltage is possible only with voltage control devices, because fixed DC to variable DC, in case of DC as a source, then there is no chance for the source current to come to zero. So you have to have a device which is capable of turning off the circuit even if the current is there. So that is why we move to voltage control device. And there are among various voltage control devices are available. Among that, most popular one is MOSFET and IGBT. They invented like IGCT also, but that is not that much compared to your MOSFET and IGBT. Okay, and again, MOSFET and IGBT, if you take MOSFET, you have very high switching frequency is possible, whereas power handling capability of MOSFET is low. Okay, so that is why we are moving today into second topic, which is called IGBT. So in IGBT, the current carrying capability is very high, or power handling capability, both are same. When you say power, it is V into I. So only if you are able to increase the current handling capability, then we can say the power handling capability also will increase. Okay, now why you want to have high power rating is we use for your power from solar panel or power from wind, all thing you will convert it into DC. Power from solar panel will be directly DC, so you need to convert into AC. In that case, you need a device where you required high power rating. Okay, so that is why we go for IGBT. So it stands for insulated gate bipolar transistor. Again, I say why I bring that name transistor here, I will tell you, because the issue in transistor is you cannot turn off. So now IGBT is a combination of MOSFET plus a transistor. So turning on is done by a MOSFET and current carrying is taken care by a transistor. So that is what is an IGBT. So I have shown you a diagram of an IGBT, which is high power rating. So size will be when you take MOSFET, the size of IGBT will be thrice or even more. Okay, so it was achieved by GE, General Electric Research Laboratory. First they have invented. These devices have near ideal characteristics for high voltage, but the operating frequency when compared to MOSFET, this is only medium frequency is possible. Such high frequency like MOSFET you cannot go with IGBT. Then the structure of IGBT. So in structure of IGBT, when you see this is called gate. Okay, you have emitter to collector. When you see between emitter to collector, you can see it is like PNP. Okay, here you call it as emitter, here you call it as collector. Okay, so this structure is similar to your transistor. So that is why it is called as insulated gate. The insulated is for saying that I am incorporating a MOSFET. So you can see here there is SiO2, which is silica oxide. So when you see from this part of side like gate, then you have this intermediate junction, you have N, this is P, and this is again N. So this region, if you see, it will be like a MOSFET. So what they do is turn on, they do by MOSFET method, that is like capacitance effect. And operating, when you see, once it comes into on condition, it will become NPN. Again, see here in your normal transistor, this was run by current injecting, and this current you are unable to remove it, whereas now here when you remove this supply to the gate, automatically this region will get all that electrons will be removed. Once this electron is removed, automatically this person is making to turn it off. So that is why turning off is possible. Okay, otherwise I think you know what is N minus. N minus is highly doped, N plus is lightly doped. Wherever you see plus, it is lightly doped, and N wherever you see it is minus, you see it is highly doped. So when you take junction of your IGBT, it is a 3 junction device. So you have junction 1, junction 2 and junction 3. Junction normally between two different type of semiconductor alone you have to call junction. You are not supposed to make this as a one more junction, because this both is N itself. So there is nothing like any junction in between N minus and N plus. So N minus and N plus is the same type of material. Only thing, the region above this N plus is lightly doped, and this is heavily doped. This N minus is heavily doped and N plus is lightly doped. That's also. Whereas when you see junction P and N, this is junction 1, this N and this is P, this is junction 2, this is P and this is N, this is junction 3. So vertical cross section is we have seen. Although P channel IGBT is possible, N channel device are more common. The reason is when you go for P channel, the inducing of this charge is difficult as compared to N. So that is why we normally go in all type, we go with the N channel. Including the isolated gate structure and shorted body, that is P type and N type semiconductor. Doping level, I have told you what about the doping level. Okay, the different is in order to defeat the latch up action of parenthetic thyristor embedded in IGBT structure. IGBT cells as a PN thyristor structure. So you see here SCR is also an comes under thyristor. So when you see from here, it is NPNP. So it is connecting two transistor back to back. So it is like an SCR. Okay. So SCR is nothing but a thyristor. So you can see here, turning on is done by a MOSFET. You can see here it is similar to MOSFET structure, and internally it is taken care by two SCR connected in anti-parallel. So two SCR connected in anti-parallel. So this is like an SCR structure. You cannot call it a SCR itself, direct SCR you cannot call. Why we are connecting two fellow in anti-parallel is, why we are connecting like this is that it will try to increase the current carrying capability. So that is why we try to connect like this. So this is about that, and the exact static equivalent circuit of IGBT. So this is the equivalent circuit. The right hand side what I am showing is the equivalent circuit. The top NPN transistor is formed by the P plus injecting layer as an emitter. So injecting layer, this layer only I am going to inject from gate. Okay, so from gate the N plus this region. Okay, where I am going to inject this region only, I am going to inject, I repeat, this region alone. Okay, so that is why we call it as P plus. And then the lower NPN transistor as an N-type source and the P-type body, and then N-type drain as an emitter. So that is how the two transistor configuration is there. So when you trigger by a MOSFET and operate by a transistor, that is called as IGBT. So combining this two picture together, see, this is for a transistor, and when you say that the MOSFET, there should be a gap between. So they try to combine it, and that is why the symbol has become like this. You have a one straight line and you have a gap. This gap is just to indicate that by the effective of capacitive effect you are turning on. So there is no real material which is there present here. So when I remove it, automatically everything will get vanish here, and automatically device will get turned off. So that is what IGBT is. Okay. From the input side, IGBT behaves essentially as a MOSFET. Therefore, when gate emitter voltage is less than the threshold, no inversion layer is formed in the p-type body region, and the device will be in off state. This is all we know, because whenever it is like behavior, input side behavior like a MOSFET. So in MOSFET we have seen it is a metal oxide field effect. So one side if you give a polarity, an opposite charge will be generated on the other side. So if it is not sufficient, then there won't be any inversion layer. The forward voltage applied between the collector and the emitter drop almost entirely across the junction. See, when you are not giving any gate voltage, so when without any gate voltage, even if you give the supply across your emitter and collector, the device will be in off. That is what they say, because junction 2 will be in reverse bias, inversion layer from the type of body under the gate. The inversion layer shorts the emitter and the drain drift layer, and the electron current flow from the emitter to this channel to the drain drift region when your threshold is more. Okay, this is turn cause substantial hole injection from the p-type collector to the drain drift region. A portion of these holes recombines to the electrons arriving at the drain drift. We all know when you call it as p channel, the person who is going to be hole structure, holes is nothing but a gap, and the electron will come in. Okay, so that is what you say, and the rest of the hole crosses the drift region and reaches the p-type body. So when you see the characteristics, VI characteristics of IGBT, it will be similar to your transistor. Okay, what you have drawn for transistor, that will be case. Now when you go and increase your gate to emitter voltage, your current will also improve. This is not in case of transistor, whereas here this is happening because from this gate only you are giving the polarity and try to create the charge and make the device on. So if you give more potential, then more charges will be induced, and more charge will induce more current to flow, and that also will be a limit beyond which if you increase there won't be any issue. And here again we have three. One is called cutoff, another one is active region, another one is saturation region. Now since we are going to use IGBT as a switch, so the region of operation, whether either it will be in cutoff or it will be in saturation. We doesn't go for active region at all, because we doesn't go for any amplification at all. So just as a switch, and it has been seen that since this line is a straight line, so we cannot go for amplification. Only if there is some variation in this part of the region, then only in active region, if you try to operate in active region, your signal gets amplified. So amplification is not at all possible in case of IGBT, and we are not using for amplification, we are just using for a switch. So either we will operate in cutoff, that is giving gate voltage less than the threshold. So this is the, we call it as threshold. So beyond this, if you supply any gate voltage, automatically the device will get turned on. You can see here, this is a graph between collector to emitter voltage and current with respect to gate voltage. Okay, we are seeing what will be the current and what is the voltage which you are applying and what will be the current flowing with effect of gate voltage. So without gate voltage nothing is there. So only if you give gate voltage beyond this particular value, then the device get turned on, and then we will give a voltage of this particular value so that it will come to saturation. We doesn't operate in here and all, so we will not, in our application we does not go for slow variation and all, either cutoff or you will go for saturation. And when you draw the plot this value, see when I am given a gate voltage of V suffix GE1, then this can be the maximum current, and if I give V suffix GE2, this is the maximum current. So this line is telling for the given gate voltage what can be the maximum current. I repeat, for the given gate voltage what can be the maximum current. So that is what this line. So this is called transfer characteristics. So that is only I have separately drawn. So this is called transfer characteristics, what we are able to transfer. When you give voltage this moment, what is the current? When you increase the voltage, what is the current with respect to gate voltage? Okay, they appear equally similar to those of logic level of BJT. So that is what I told. There is no difference, much difference between BJT and IGBT. except that the controlling parameter is not base current. So you can see here I have not told any base current. Here I am saying as GE, gate to emitter voltage. So only with respect to voltage I am talking, where there in transistor we will talk about current, base current. So that is the only difference. When the gate emitter voltage is below the threshold voltage, only very small leakage current flows through the device, while the collector emitter voltage at most equal to the supply voltage, which is shown in point C, which is called cutoff, and there won't be any current flow. Device under this condition is said to be operating in cutoff region. The maximum forward voltage the device can withstand, see, this is the case we are discussing now. Now what will happen if I go on increase my voltage without giving gate voltage? If I am not giving any gate voltage and if I am increasing my voltage across collector emitter, this is the maximum limit beyond which entire device will collapse and they will get eaten up and they will burst, because it is not a conductor, it is a semiconductor. So this is the insulation level. See, when you take a semiconductor, it is similar to an insulator. So across the two terminal of the semiconductor, if you are going on increasing your potential, what will happen? It is like a dam. It has a limit, till that only it can store water. If you increase more than the capability of the dam, what will happen to the dam walls? It will break. So similar case, but the thing you have to know is I am not giving any gate voltage. If I am not giving gate voltage and if I am increasing the voltage across the collector to emitter, this is the maximum voltage beyond which if you try to apply, the device will fail. Okay. Then comes, as the gate emitter voltage increases beyond the threshold voltage, the IGBT enter into active region of operation. In this mode, the collector current IC is determined by the transfer characteristics of the device. So at what gate voltage, what will be the current? So this is what you get from transfer characteristics. As gate emitter voltage is increased further, IC also increases, and for a given load resistance RL, DC increases. At any point of CE become less than GE minus G threshold. Under this condition, driving MOSFET part of the IGBT enter into ohmic region and that drives the output of PNP transistor to the saturation. So only in this region we will operate. Under this condition, the device is said to be saturation mode. So either cutoff mode or saturation mode we will operate. In saturation mode, the voltage drop across the IGBT remains almost constant, reducing only slightly with the increase in. So when the device is off, I should have minimum voltage drop. When we will have minimum voltage drop? When you operate in saturation. That is why we are not going into active region. So next comes your switching characteristics. So when you say switching characteristics, you have to compare with the input. So this is input and this is your across the device. Across the device I will measure what is voltage, what is current. Okay. Across the device I will measure what is voltage and what is current. The reason for change in voltage and current is change in your voltage. So see, normally we draw a pulse like structure with the Pakka box, but that box is not possible here. So this is turning on and this is turning off. So we told that whenever you remove gate voltage, the device should off. So this part is called as turning on and this part is called turning off. So turning on, I am giving pulse. So what happens is current has to increase, and once the current reaches its ICE value, it starts climbing up. Once it reaches around 50 to 60%, then only voltage will start to decrease. So you can see once it reaches 10%, then. So why it takes this amount of time to start reducing is called as delay, and this is fall. So similarly, this will happen. Now we will see why this slope and all is there, because of your capacitance effect. So T on is nothing but the T on time is composed of two components, delay and rise. See, even at your home, if you are asked to do any work, what is being told will be heard by your ear, but it takes some time for you to stand from there and to do the work. So that we call it as delay time. Similarly, here also you have delay time, then rise time. Then you will start doing the work and you take some amount of time to do that particular work. Work is just where SAS on or off. The delay time is defined as the time in which the collector current rises from the leakage current ICE to 0.1 of IC, and the collector emitter voltage falls from VCE to 0.9. See, E is not coming less than 0.9 and E is not increasing more than 0.1. That is called the time taken from 0 to this is called delay. Once it has reached 0.1, then you are not supposed to say delay, it is called rise time. Rise time is defined as a time in which collector current rises from 0.1 to total current, and fall of voltage from 0.9 to 0.1, only 0.1, beyond which it will not fall, that is called on state voltage drop. Less than 0.1 to 0 is called on state voltage drop. Then comes turn off characteristics. Turn off depends on three terms. One is delay, then initial fall time and final fall time. This initial fall time is due to turning off, and final, so there is some capacitance who try to supply it even though the supply is removed, as all the capacitance are not source, only they can transfer for a shorter duration of time, and that leads to this two time. Okay, delay time is defined, what we have defined, initial fall time taken during which the collector current falls from 0.9 to 0.2 and the collector emitter voltage rises to 0.1. The final time is defined as the collector current from 0.2 to 0.1. Okay, so that is been shown here. Next comes your dynamic characteristics. We have seen dynamic characteristics of MOSFET. You can see dynamic characteristics of IGBT also. Again, three capacitance will come into picture. If this on all this capacitance will come into picture when only if you say voltage control device. Last class itself I have told. So here you have three capacitance coming into picture. Now we will see what is each and everything. So equivalent of IGBT model, that includes capacitance between the terminals, input, output and reverse transfer characteristics. One is called input, one is called output, one is called reverse transfer capacitor, or combination of these three capacitance. So first one is input capacitance, we will see. So measured between the gate and emitter terminal with the collector shorted to the emitter from AC signals, IC suffix IES, which is called as input emitter. Okay, so this is made up of gate collector capacitance in parallel with gate emitter capacitance. So when you add this two, you will get what is the input side capacitance. Input capacitor must be charged to the threshold value before device begin to turn on, and discharge to, this is nothing but a flat voltage, before the device began to turn off. Therefore, the impedance of the driven circuit and ICE have a direct relationship. So when you want to get faster response of your device, then there is a relationship between this capacitance. So proper selecting the value of your resistance such that this capacitance gets charged fastly. If this capacitance gets charged fastly, then your device will come to on at a faster rate. Then comes your output capacitance. This is the output capacitance measured between the collector to emitter terminal with the gate shorted. So for calculating one capacitance value, the opposite side should be shorted. C is made up of collector to emitter capacitance in parallel with gate to collector capacitance. So for calculating one, you have to take other two, that's all. It is simple, there is nothing to mug up, or that if you take input side, this two will come into picture. When you take output side, this two come into picture. So that is what they say. Okay, for soft switching application, this is very important thing you should know. See why we see all this capacitance and dynamic effects for all the capacitance plays a major role. For the soft switching application, CEO is an important because it can affect the resonance of the circuit. If you are not properly calculating this value with your circuit capacitance and inductance, then there is a chance for resonance. So if resonance is occurring, then that is what you have to take into consideration when you go for soft switching. You need resonance when you go for soft switching. Then reverse transfer capacitance. This is reverse transfer capacitance measured between collector to gate terminal with the emitter connected to ground. The reverse transfer capacitance is equal to the gate collector capacitance. CRES is equal to CGS. So the value is same. Okay, that is what they mean to say. The reverse transfer capacitance offered to a Miller capacitance is one of the major parameter affecting the voltage rise and fall time during switching. So I now with the graph I will go back, I will tell you, see there are only 3 capacitance which is there. This is input side, this is transfer, and this is output. So this what finally we conclude, this both is same value should be there. This is going to decide and this is going to decide about soft switching. So all these 3 capacitance has a major role. Okay, so for various capacitance value, what is the collector to emitter voltage? This is just a graph. So data sheet will be provided for all such thing. So based upon this we can identify what is the collector to emitter voltage that can be maximum applied across the device for these capacitance. So that is very important. Okay, so this is the switching characteristics of T on. So when you say on, voltage will have to come down and your current has to increase. So this is current waveform. You can see this is the current waveform. So initially current is 0, then current starts to build up and reaches the maximum value. It is a peak overshoot and then it will come. Similarly, your voltage you can see here, it is there in maximum value, then it starts decreasing. Okay, this is the gate voltage which we are applying. Okay, this is taken photo from hardware where you will not get a proper pulse waveform and all. The pulse waveform will be like this only. So this is when this pulse waveform is applied to gate, switching takes place, and you can see here there is a simultaneous existence of voltage and current in this region. So in this region if you see, there is simultaneous existence of voltage and current. See, this is current waveform, this is voltage waveform, but when you shade it, so that is called switching loss. So this amount of energy is wasted as a switching loss because both V and I should not be there. If both V and I presents, then it will become power loss or heat in the form of heat. So you can see here this voltage is coming down to 0 when the device is turned on. Similarly current is increasing. So at this instant when you see, it is simultaneous existence of both V and I. Similarly this is turn off. Turn off is again current will come to 0 and voltage will try to regain to its maximum value. Next let us go on to the last device, which is integrated gate commutated thyristor. So they thought why should we could not go for take the SCR alone, and why can we give a name as GCT, but it is same as IGBT itself. Okay, in IGBT I told no, you should not say it as SCR. That is why the reason why I told you should not say SCR is when you say SCR, the device name will become IGCT. So you can say 2 transistor connected back to back in when you discuss with respect to IGBT, but you should not say the 2 SCRs, 2 transistor connected back to back form an SCR there. That has been separately done and given a name as IGCT. So IGCT and IGBT, there is no much difference. Only thing they refer it as 2 transistor as an SCR itself. So SCR turned on by your gate, so they call it as integrated gate commutated thyristor. It was special type of thyristor. It is made of integration of gate unit with both gate commutated thyristor wafer device. The problem here is you have to pump in your gate voltage and pump out your gate voltage to bring the device off. So turning on and turning off require high power. So this is similar to a GTO. So that is the problem faced by GTO. So GTO, you have to turn on and turn off, you require high power, so power loss will be there. So that is why we doesn't go. Just structure of IGCT, it will be similar to your IGBT only. Now just I have shown a different way of graph representing what is the doping level. So when this is nothing but 1 e power 12, 1 e power 16, 1 e power 20. So here you say it is highly doped, it is lessly doped. So that is what. So when you take this N base compared to this P base, what is the doping level? P base is slightly heavily doped, and this region is very highly doped. So that is why you can see the difference. Now operation, in an IGCT, gate turn on current is greater than anode current. This result in complete elimination of minority carrier injection from the lower PN junction and the faster turn off time. So I am trying to remove it, so I require power, so that is why I told power loss is more. The main difference are the reduction in cell size and much more. All this is not required for you because cell size and all we talk with respect to manufacturing. So when you just put it in Google like IGCT, if you put and try to see image, you will get a concentric circle like structure. That concentric circle like structure is what they say is the arrangement of different IGCT to form a single IGCT. A very high gate current and fast di by dt rise of gate current means that the regular wires cannot be used to connect the gate drive for the IGCT. So since I have told it requires high power, normal wire cannot be connected because normal wire it will get burned. You have to use a wire which can withstand high current. So that is why we say high power is required to turn on and turn off. So VI characteristics, it's all same for all the devices. When your voltage starts to increase, your current come down. When your voltage try to fall, current starts to increase. This is T off, this is T on. Let us wind up. So switching comparison. So various types of device and their comparison. Availability, when you take thyristors were used in late 60s, then came GTO, then came BJT, and then in late 1980s, after 80s, that is 1980, we were using only MOSFET and IGBT because we have moved into power electronics. So power electronics came into picture in late 1980s. So you cannot say late 1980s, late 70s or beginning of 80s. So in 1980 itself you have started with the MOSFET. When you say voltage rating for slightly, your MOSFET and IGBT is less when compared to thyristor because it can withstand very high voltage. Similarly, current rating, if you see the voltage rating and current rating of thyristor is very huge. Okay, that is why in UG I think you add this paper or I don't know. Whenever you go for rectifier, only person till now we use is only thyristor. Okay, because they are high rating. But when you want to increase the rating, go for serial and parallel combination. So even when you see the voltage of your MOSFET compared to IGBT is less, it is went into kV. Okay, whereas when you see switching frequency, only this fellow is having high switching frequency because it is a voltage control device. Here the frequency of IGBT is less than MOSFET because MOSFET is used to do turn on and turn off, so that takes some amount of loss. So we will not go beyond the frequency of 100 kilohertz. Then on state voltage drop, when you see, it is more in MOSFET, whereas less in IGBT and so see IGBT behavior will be in between the MOSFET and thyristor range. So between the range, it will be lies between the range of thyristor and MOSFET. Only advantage with the MOSFET is high switching frequency, that's all. Okay, when compared to IGBT, MOSFET you have high switching frequency. All that drive circuit, simple, very difficult because they are all current control device, whereas when voltage control device, drive circuits are very simple. Command cannot turn off using gate signal, king in very high power, so this have high power, passing out in new products, good performance in high frequency, best overall performance. So compared to all these fellows, good from MOSFET and good from these fellows are taken into IGBT. So IGBT suits for all the applications, so it is best overall performance. So with this we will come to end of unit number 3. So next we will go for unit number 4 in our